The wind was still the moment it happened, so still that even the flags lining the grounds of Arlington seemed to hold their breath. A crowd had gathered for a modest ceremony honoring veterans of the 3rd Infantry Regiment, but nothing on the program mentioned what the man in the faded uniform would do. Staff Sergeant Elias Ward, a wiry figure with steel gray eyes, stepped forward without waiting to be called. His boots clicked once on the marble, and then he reached into his pocket. At first, people thought he was adjusting his jacket. Then they saw it, a bronze star, gleaming despite its age. He held it up just long enough for the light to strike it, then let it fall. The metal hit the marble with a sharp, unmistakable clink, echoing off the tomb walls. Gasps rippled through the audience. A few whispered, "Is he crazy?" Another, "Is this allowed?" But Elias didn't speak. He simply stepped back, eyes locked on the tomb of the unknown soldier, as if waiting for judgment. That's when the tomb guard broke formation. Most people never grasp how sacred the tomb guard's discipline is. They do not look away. They do not pause. They do not acknowledge anything outside their ritual. And yet, Specialist Carter Hale, a wiry figure with steel gray eyes, stepped forward without waiting to be called. His boots clicked once on the marble, and then he reached into his pocket. At first, people thought he was adjusting his jacket. Then they saw it, a bronze star, gleaming despite its age. He held it up just long enough for the light to strike it, then let it fall. The metal hit the marble with a sharp, unmistakable clink, echoing off the tomb walls. Gasps rippled through the audience. A few whispered, "Is he crazy?" Another, "Is this allowed?" But Elias didn't speak. He simply stepped back, eyes locked on the tomb of the unknown soldier, as if waiting for judgment. That's when the tomb guard broke formation. Most people never grasp how sacred the tomb guard's discipline is. They do not look away. They do not pause, and they do not acknowledge anything outside their ritual. And yet, Specialist Carter Hale, a newly posted sentinel, took 3 steps off the mat. The entire crowd went dead silent. His spindle-straight posture never broke, his rifle stayed level, but his eyes, unblinking, unshaken, fixed solely on the metal glinting at Elias's feet. Carter Hale was violating one of the strictest protocols in American military tradition out of pure instinct. Murmurs rose. What is he doing? Has this ever happened before? Why step off guard for a medal someone threw away? But Carter didn't touch the medal. He stopped beside it, boots aligned perfectly, and addressed Elias with a voice that carried across the memorial. "Sir, state your intention." Reporters froze. Veterans stiffened. Even the birds seemed to halt mid-air. Elias finally spoke. "My intention is truth." Elias knelt beside the fallen bronze star, his hands trembling, not with fear, but with something older and heavier. "I earned this in Kandahar," he said, not to brag, but to confess. The crowd leaned closer. But what they don't put in the citation is that the man who should have gotten this never came home. A soft cry rose from someone in the back. Elias's voice tightened. It was Private Jonah Keene, fresh out of Georgia. He covered me when we were ambushed. I lived. He didn't. He swallowed hard. They gave me this medal because I survived. But that always felt backwards. The crowd was now silent in shared grief. I came here today to lay this medal down at the feet of those who truly earned it. Not me. Them. All of them. He bowed his head. But Carter Hale, still standing at solemn attention, spoke again with unexpected conviction. Sergeant Ward, this ground remembers every sacrifice, but we cannot accept a medal thrown down in sorrow. He paused. It must be given, not abandoned. The distinction struck everyone like thunder. No one knew tomb guards could do what Carter did next. He slowly lowered his perfectly white-gloved hand and, violating every rule drilled into him, picked up the bronze star. The crowd collectively gasped. Carter inspected the medal with ceremonial reverence and then turned back to Elias. On behalf of the unknown, on behalf of every soldier who cannot speak for themselves, he said with a voice that resonated with timeless authority, I accept this offering, not as a surrender of guilt, but as an act of remembrance. He extended the medal toward the tomb, holding it out like a sacred relic. Then, another break in custom, he invited Elias forward with a nod. Walk with me, Sergeant Ward. Together, the humbled veteran and the immovable sentinel approached the tomb of the unknown soldier. They moved in step, an unscripted, unforgettable duet of reverence. Carter placed the medal on the marble railing, perfectly centered. Elias rested his hand atop it, whispering a name only he and God could hear. Cameras clicked. People wept openly. Even the stoic old vets wiped their eyes. Something historic had just occurred. When the two men stepped back, Carter did something absolutely unheard of. He saluted Elias. Tomb guards do not salute individuals. They salute the tomb. Yet in that moment, Carter Hale saluted not the man, but the burden he carried and the courage it took to finally set it down. The entire Arlington crowd followed his lead. Every veteran, every civilian, every tourist. Hundreds of hands rose in silent unity. Elias's knees nearly buckled as he realized what was happening. The weight he had carried for years, guilt, grief, unspoken stories, lifted in the shared stillness. A reporter whispered, "This is the most human thing I've ever seen here." When the ceremony resumed, none of the attendees remembered the schedule. All they remembered was that a man dropped a medal and a sentinel broke tradition to honor the truth behind it. The bronze star remained on the marble until sunset, when it was quietly taken to a place of safekeeping, its story now part of Arlington's own. And from that day, visitors sometimes asked, is it true? Did a tomb guard really step off the mat? The guides always gave the same answer. Yes, because sometimes even sacred duty bends to honor the heart.